Hi, welcome to A Likely Story, where we discuss news, current events, and whatever it is that we find interesting, and it comes to you as often as I can get around to writing it, here from the sunny and very sad shores of Florida. I'm your host, Grafton Stringer, and there's no way I can live up to the production values of those opening credits. Now, I say sad this month because it's been, by any measure, a very, very bad time for the Sunshine State, with the recent murder last month of a pop singer, the massacre of 49 innocent people at a nightclub, and an alligator killing a 2-year-old little boy, all occurring within the same 3-day period, and all within the same town, America's theme park playground, and Mother Nature's steam room, Orlando. Now, following the shooting, Florida Governor and that thing terrifying your children from under the bed, Rick Scott, said that the easy availability of guns was absolutely not to blame for this. Now, after every mass shooting, politicians have blamed everything from the state of mental health in America to terrorism to video games. The one thing that they're sure that is not responsible, though, is guns, well, and global warming, because conservatives say that that doesn't exist, despite the fact that there's more evidence supporting it than there is that OJ did it. Meanwhile, the one place politicians are absolutely positive more guns will not keep us safer is where they work. But they are sure that they'll keep us safer almost everywhere else, including where we shop, where we worship, and even where we go to school. Now, speaking of schools, Florida is just the latest state to grapple with the issue of allowing students to carry guns on college campuses. And it was just last year when the president of Florida Students for Concealed Carry testified in front of a Florida Senate subcommittee where he tried to support his position by saying that you're almost twice as likely to be attacked by an alligator than by someone who happens to hold a carry and conceal permit. Now, I'm no expert, but it just seems like poor salesmanship to compare gun owners to something with a brain the size of a walnut and an insatiable urge to kill. It's just not your best pitch. But let's face it, Florida's the epicenter of questionable decision-making. For instance, just late last year, the Florida Department of Motor Vehicles announced that too many people in the state are failing their driver's license exams. So the state is looking for ways to make the exam easier. That's right, about 60% of people taking the Florida driver's license exam are failing, so they want to make the exam easier. So Florida's the home to more than 3.5 million people over 65. If they can't pass their vision tests, why not just lower the criteria for what qualifies as blindness? My question is, if these people are too dumb to pass their driver's license exam, why are we working so hard to make it easier to get them behind the wheel of a car? You already have to tell people that if you leave Fluffy in the car with the windows up, it takes about 3 minutes for it to become a $30,000 easy bake oven, and that happens all the time. And Fluffy looks pissed. And people don't seem to get that it's a bad idea to catch up on episodes of The Bachelorette on their cell phones as they're cruising down the turnpike, or apparently while they're taking their driver's test. Not to mention the fact that a few years ago they had to pass a law in Florida to tell people that truck nuts are really, really disgusting. Truck nuts. How did this become a thing? Oh good, we have the larger picture of it. Putting giant human testicles on your car. Now don't forget, this is Florida. So during a 2008 debate on whether or not to legally ban these Donald Trump-like displays of overcompensation, one state senator admitted that he owned a pair of these, at least an external pair, and that they, to him, were just an expression of truckliness. That may be my favorite new word, truckliness. I went to look up truckliness in the dictionary, but my dictionary just spat chewing tobacco juice on me, called me boy, and sped away. Now, I guess if you don't care that your truck nuts make your simple oil change look like you're getting teabagged by your F-150, well, that's okay by me. And there's also the Freudian questions raised by turning your truck into a giant symbolic penis so you can climb inside and tool around town. But I'm not one to judge. I just don't want anyone who's not bright enough or motivated enough to pass a driving test to drive their giant penis or anything else out of the driveway and onto the road. Plus, this is Florida. It already looks like everyone here is 16 driving 103 or 103 driving 16. So let's please not make the driving test easier. And it's way past time for mass transit in this state anyway. That way we can go back to the way nature intended. People with their nuts hanging out on the bus. And finally, this week's new ways to get offended. Here's a video of a man in a Connecticut Target store verbally abusing a woman who is breastfeeding her baby. Have a look.
Because I'm feeding my baby, this man is going crazy, and I'm shaking.
So, you're rude. Yeah.
He wants a refund because I'm breastfeeding my baby.
I do not feel ashamed of this at all. Then don't look, sir. Okay, don't look then. If he doesn't like it, he can go.
That's right. This beautiful mother-child bonding moment is brought to you by Target and this scary overweight guy screaming the F word. Now, besides the fact she has every moral and legal right to breastfeed her baby here or anywhere she wants, this overstuffed boiled sausage and dad jeans berates this poor woman and calls her disgusting. Ironically, while he's about to eat food from a Target concession stand. Now, if this guy's mother had had any children that had lived, I think she would have been the first to tell her son that this is how the human race survives. And if he's fortunate enough to be married, I'm hoping that his wife will tell him that the chances of him seeing a female breast in person again are fairly low. But the good news is that as long as the human race survives, he'll have plenty to stay offended about, and he can keep on screaming at the ladies and expressing his truckliness. And that's a likely story. I'm Grafton Stringer. Thanks for joining us. Hope to see you next time.